Lesson 18 is about like terms. Like terms have variables that are exactly the same and they're raised to exactly the same powers. Therefore, these variables, I've got to get my pen here, these variables, 4xmp, 2mpx, 6mxp, are like terms. All three of them have x to the first, m to the first, and p to the first. The order of multiplication does not affect the product. They represent the same number regardless of the non-zero values assigned to the variables. So if we let, for instance, x equal 4, m equal 2, and we let, oops, I don't know why that came up, we let m equal 2 and p equal x, we have xmp would be 4 times 2 times 6. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 6 is 48. mpx would be 6 times 2 times 4. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 4 is 48. Or mxp, 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 6 is also 48. They all represent the same product. So therefore they are like terms. Sometimes it's easier to rearrange the variables to show like terms because multiplication is commutative. We can do this. Arranging the variables in each term in alphabetical order gives us this: 4mpx minus 2mpx plus 6mpx, and it's a little bit easier to see that they are like. To add the terms, we algebraically add only the numerical coefficients. So the 4, the 2, and the 6, and that equals 8mpx. Okay, to do these now, sometimes it's easier to see the like terms if we put a circle around them. So I'm going to use the red pen, and I'm going to put a circle around the 3x and a circle around the negative 5x. There's nothing like the 5. That's a constant. There are no other constants. xy has a negative in front of it, but I'm going to put a 1 there just to remember that I know that it has a negative 1 in front. And then I'm going to put a box around that, and I'm going to put a box around the positive 2yx. Now I'm going to get my black pen. I can add these two terms algebraically. 3x plus negative 5x. I add the 3 and the negative 5, and I get negative 2x. Nothing to go with the 5. You can just put it in. Cross out as you go along, and we're down to negative 1 plus 2. 2 plus negative 1 is 1xy, and I don't have to write the 1 in my answer. Okay, 3xy. Is there anything like that? Well, yes. Negative 10yx is exactly like that. It has an x to the first and a y to the first. Both of them do. So I'm going to add the 3 and the negative 10, and then I would have a negative 7yx. xyz, this has an xy and a z, all raised to the first. So I'll circle these two. Those also are like terms. And then I'm going to add. So I'm going to have 3xy minus 10yx is negative 7xy, and 2xyz plus a negative 5yzx. I add the numerical coefficients, and I get negative 3xyz. I like to put my answers in alphabetical order of the variables. Okay, here I'm not going to bother with the red pen again. I have a 4 and I have a negative 15. I can add those right now. 4 plus negative 15 is negative 11. I've added my constants. I have another constant here, so when I add that to negative 11, it's going to be negative 6. Then I look at these two terms, and these also are alike. I have a positive 7 and I have a positive 3. They both have m to the first, x to the first, and y to the first. So I have negative 6 plus 10 mxy. And this problem, I'm going to put a circle around this, a circle around this, and here is another. Okay, I have a positive 3x and I have a negative 3x. Those are additive inverses. They are exactly alike. They're opposites. Opposites or additive inverses add up to 0. So those are 0, and all I've got left is negative x. The negative y, I know it's negative 1y, so I'll put a y there. I also have a negative 2y here, and I have a negative 8y here. Negative 1 plus negative 2 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus negative 8 is negative 11y, and those are gone. And then I have a positive 5. I think I'll just underline the constants, and a negative 10. Positive 5 plus negative 10 is negative 5, and that's my final answer. Okay, and then the next page. Okay, I have a constant here. I'll underline it. I have two constants. Negative 3 plus negative 14 is negative 17. Then I have a positive 1 xmy and a positive 8 ymx. Those are like again, even though the variables are not in the same order. 1 plus 8 is going to equal 9 mxy. And again, I like to put my final answers into alphabetical order of the variables. I'm going to circle this, and I'm going to circle this. Those are gone too. I have a negative 1y and a negative 3y. That means I have negative 4y, and that's my final answer. This can be written in any way you please. Usually the book will put the positive term and the variable term first, and the constant term at the end. There's no difference between these two answers because addition is commutative. And that concludes lesson 18.